Have you ever wondered why some people can read romantic intentions as if they had a built-in radar, while you keep missing opportunities? In the next few minutes, you'll discover the hidden signals that reveal when someone is interested in you but doesn't dare tell you directly, and you'll forever transform your ability to recognize attraction. Most people make the same mistake. They wait for a direct verbal declaration, when in reality, 93% of human communication is nonverbal. Strauss, after years studying the dynamics of attraction, discovered that the language of desire has its own alphabet, one that few people have learned to decipher correctly. Today, we'll crack that code together. The first step to identifying someone who's interested in you is recognizing the facial micro-expressions that appear unconsciously. You can't control these signals. They're automatic and revealing. When someone feels attraction toward you, their pupils dilate involuntarily. It's a biological response that can't be faked. The next time you're talking with someone you suspect might be interested, observe their eyes under different lighting conditions. If you notice their pupils expanding when they look at you, even when the light hasn't changed, you're witnessing a powerful signal of interest. Strauss talks about the mirror effect as one of the most reliable indicators. When someone is emotionally synchronized with you, their body will betray them long before their words do. This synchronization appears as an unconscious reflection of your movements. If you take a sip of your drink, they'll take a sip of theirs seconds later. If you change your posture, they'll adjust theirs. This phenomenon occurs below the conscious level and is practically impossible to fake for extended periods. Think about the last time you had a conversation with someone and noticed they were adopting your gestures or positions. It wasn't a coincidence, it was their brain creating a subconscious connection with you. Has it ever happened to you that someone starts using your same expressions or favorite phrases? That's another manifestation of the mirror effect. Practical exercise. The next time you're with someone you suspect might be interested, make a subtle but distinctive movement, like lightly touching your necklace or watch. Wait a few minutes and observe if the other person unconsciously repeats that same gesture. If they do, you've just confirmed the first signal of romantic interest that person feels for you. Don't forget to hit the notification bell right now to receive more content like this that will transform your social life and personal relationships. And we'll talk about that in the next point, because body signals are just the beginning of the hidden language of attraction. The second revealing indicator is physical proximity and the subtle invasion of your personal space. When someone is romantically interested, they look for any excuse to shorten the distance between you. This is one of the most ancestral signals of interest, rooted in our evolutionary behavior. Strauss discovered in his research that the physical distance between two people is directly proportional to the emotional distance. In other words, the closer someone wants to be to you physically, the closer they want to be emotionally. This proximity manifests in subtle ways. Maybe they choose to sit next to you when there are other options available. Perhaps they lean slightly toward you during a conversation, or find pretexts for establishing accidental physical contact. Have you noticed that a certain person always seems to find you in the coffee shop, in the hallway, or at social events? It's not a coincidence. When someone is attracted to you, subconsciously or consciously, they'll alter their routines to increase the chances of running into you. Touch is particularly revealing. Casual touches on your arm during conversation, brushing your fingers when passing you something, or the classic move of removing an imaginary piece of lint from your clothes. These are all excuses to establish physical contact. If these behaviors are consistently repeated, you're facing an unmistakable sign of romantic interest. Here's the exercise. During your next interaction, notice how many times this person finds ways to reduce the space between you or to establish physical contact. Count each instance of casual proximity. If the number exceeds 3 times in a single encounter, we confirm the second signal. This person definitely wants something more with you. Repeat this phrase to yourself. I recognize proximity signals and understand their true meaning. This simple mantra will help you stay aware of this dynamic in your future interactions. Most people make a serious mistake when interpreting these signals, confusing kindness with romantic interest, or worse, ignoring real signals of attraction out of fear of rejection. But when you master the art of reading these signals, romantic opportunities that previously went unnoticed become evident. And we'll talk about that in the next point, because there's a third indicator equally powerful: the disproportionate investment of time and attention. When someone is developing feelings for you, they begin to value every moment they spend with you in a special way. Time is our most valuable resource, and the way we distribute it reveals our true priorities. Strauss explains it perfectly. Attention is the most valuable currency in human relationships. Where someone consistently invests their attention, that's where their true interest lies. This investment of attention manifests in several detectable ways. First, observe if this person remembers specific details from previous conversations. If you casually mentioned your favorite restaurant or an important event in your life, and weeks later this person remembers it precisely, it's because they're paying extraordinary attention to what you say. People don't store information they consider irrelevant. Second, notice if they adjust their schedule to accommodate you. Someone who is romantically interested will move mountains to create space for you in their life. They'll cancel other plans, rearrange commitments, or even change established routines just to be able to spend time with you. Third, pay attention to the quality of their attention when you're together. If they put away their phone, maintain sustained eye contact, and seem genuinely absorbed in the conversation, you're receiving an amount of attention that we reserve only for those we consider special. Have you ever experienced someone responding quickly to your messages while you see them taking hours to answer others? That prioritization of communication with you is another form of attention investment that reveals romantic interest. Here's a revealing exercise. Make a small but specific request that requires time or effort. It could be a recommendation that needs research, help with some task, or advice on something personal. The way they respond to this request will give you a clear measure of their level of emotional investment. If they make a disproportionate effort to fulfill your request, you have the third confirmed signal right in front of you. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to like this video and share it with someone who needs to decipher if that special person is interested in more than friendship. And we'll talk about that in the next point, because there's a fourth indicator that reveals romantic interest: courtship behaviors and personal presentation. When someone feels attraction toward you, they unconsciously begin to exhibit what anthropologists call courtship rituals, behaviors designed to attract your attention and present themselves as a desirable potential partner. Strauss identified that human courtship follows universal patterns that transcend cultures. Personal display always precedes the verbal declaration of interest. These displays take various recognizable forms once you know what to look for. The most obvious is a sudden interest in their appearance when they know they'll see you. If you notice this person appears particularly well-groomed on occasions where you'll be present, while they appear more casual in other situations, you're witnessing a classic courtship behavior. It can manifest as a new haircut, more carefully chosen clothes, a more noticeable perfume or cologne, or any improvement in their personal presentation. Have you noticed that a certain person seems to activate in your presence? Their posture instantly improves, their voice acquires a more dynamic tone, their gestures become more expressive, and they seem to radiate more energy. This transformation is another powerful indicator, as we are subconsciously programmed to show our best version to those who attract us. Also observe if this person seeks to impress you by sharing achievements, skills, or knowledge. This behavior, which Strauss calls value demonstration, is an attempt to highlight their worth as a potential partner. Perhaps they casually mention their talents, tell anecdotes that show them in favorable situations, or demonstrate relevant competencies in your presence. Another revealing behavior is inexplicable nervousness. Paradoxically, although someone interested in you wants to impress you, their attraction can manifest as clumsiness, occasional stuttering, or nervous gestures that they don't show in other social interactions. This vulnerability is actually a very authentic indicator of romantic interest. Practical exercise. During your next encounter, carefully observe the changes in this person's personal presentation and behavior. Do they show different versions of themselves in different social contexts? Do they seem particularly interested in you noticing certain aspects of their personality or appearance? If you identify at least 3 special presentation behaviors, you've confirmed the 4th signal of romantic interest. Repeat to yourself, "I recognize courtship rituals and understand their true purpose." This mantra will help you keep your perception sharpened to detect these subtle but significant behaviors. Most people confuse the true intention behind these behaviors, interpreting them as simple kindness or friendship. But you now know their true evolutionary meaning. They are unconscious attraction strategies that precede any verbal declaration. And we'll talk about that in the next point, because there's a 5th and definitive indicator that confirms romantic interest: the anticipation of future commitment and signals of exclusivity. When someone isn't just attracted to you, but also sees you as a potential partner, they'll begin to plant seeds of future in their interactions with you. Strauss explains that true romantic interest always includes a projection toward the future. It's not just about the present, but about creating a bridge to shared possibilities. This projection manifests in subtle but unmistakable ways. The most evident signal is when this person begins to make casual references to future activities with you. "We should go to that restaurant sometime. I have to show you that movie. That place you mentioned sounds interesting. We could visit it." These aren't simple conversations. They're hooks thrown to establish continuity in their relationship with you. Observe if this person begins to use collective pronouns like we or our in contexts where technically no such unit exists. This subtle linguistic change reveals that mentally they're already incorporating you into their social identity. A particularly powerful indicator is when they begin to establish indirect exclusivity. It can manifest by casually mentioning their single status, making negative references to their recent dating experiences, or even asking you about your own romantic perspectives. These seemingly innocent conversations are actually explorations of the terrain for a potential relationship. Have you noticed that this person seems particularly interested in your opinion on topics related to romantic relationships? Do they ask you what you look for in a partner, or share stories about past relationships to see your reaction? These are attempts to assess long-term compatibility without explicitly declaring their intentions. Another revealing behavior is when they exhibit small signs of jealousy or discomfort when you interact with potential competitors. It can manifest as a subtle change in their expression, a sudden desire to join the conversation, or even seemingly casual comments designed to reaffirm their connection with you. Here's the definitive exercise. In your next conversation, casually mention some future plan that excites you but that you haven't finalized. If this person immediately looks for ways to include themselves in that plan or shows a disproportionate interest in the details, you're receiving the 5th and most definitive signal of romantic interest. Repeat this affirmation. "I recognize signals of future projection and understand their meaning in the game of attraction." This awareness will allow you to identify when someone is truly interested in building something with you, beyond the present moment. When you master the art of recognizing these 5 signals, facial micro-expressions, physical proximity, investment of time and attention, courtship behaviors, and future projection, you become someone versed in the silent language of desire. But the true power isn't just in recognizing these signals, but in knowing how to strategically respond to them. If you've made it this far, there's something you already know. The communication of romantic interest is rarely direct. It manifests through a subtle language that most don't know how to interpret. Now you possess the ability to read signals that others can't see, to understand intentions that aren't verbally expressed, and to detect romantic opportunities that previously went completely unnoticed before your eyes. As Strauss discovered after years studying human dynamics, the difference between those who succeed in the romantic realm and those who fail isn't physical appearance or even charisma, but the ability to recognize and correctly interpret signals of interest. That ability is what you've just acquired. This skill will give you an advantage that few possess. It will allow you to invest your time and emotional energy in people who have already demonstrated genuine interest in you, thus avoiding the wear and tear of pursuing one-sided connections. It will give you the confidence that comes from certainty, replacing paralyzing doubts with concrete knowledge. The real secret that separates those who are masters of social interactions from those who remain confused is precisely this: the ability to read the subtext of human communication, especially in the romantic realm. Your challenge from today is to put into practice what you've learned. Comment below the following declaration to reaffirm your commitment to this new skill. I have learned to recognize the hidden signals of romantic interest and will never again let an opportunity pass by not knowing how to interpret what's right in front of me. If this content has been valuable to you, make sure to subscribe right now, activate the notification bell, and share this video with someone who needs to develop this critical skill for their social and romantic life. Remember, those who understand the silent language of attraction never walk alone in the world, because they can see what for others remains invisible.